Hello.
Why are we doing this?
We haven't. Doing what thing again? A thing without Zane or a thing without Ichitan?
I mean, not
She really has thrown up the dynamic, hasn't she?
a little bit, but I mean, why are we back on this website? Like, I assume people who
Creepypasta?
Yeah, why are we back on this website?
Because it's been a while since we've done a creepypasta, and I've been kind of wanting to do this one for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ripping off Undercooked Analysis. Whatever.
It's not a great reason, but it's a reason.
No, I think you might. This one's a fucking trip. This one might be a troll. I'm not really sure. At the very least, it's one of those weirder, like, haunted TV show creepypasta, because it just goes off the fucking rails. So, I guess if you want, like, a reading of, fucking Happy Appy done by a couple of people who are slightly less negative than, Undercooked Analysis.
One person who is slightly less negative and one person who is much less negative.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I very much am critical of things, but I'm not nearly as mean-spirited as, I guess, Undercooked Analysis always tends to feel to me. And if you like Undercooked Analysis, I have no issue with that. I have no issue with them. It's just, I don't know, they always just seem a bit too...
There's a poem by Charles Bukowski called Be Kind.
It's not even... It is one of those whole things of, like, I'm a cynical person, but even I'm just like, fucking hell, calm down. Anyway.
Oh, you think that's bad? I'm a fan of Star Wars, and the Star Wars fandom is absolute cancer.
Yes. Yes.
Most fandoms are, but...
Star Wars fandom killed my love of Star Wars.
Well, it didn't kill mine, so...
Anyway, like it's a silly space wizard movie. Why are you people this like fucking up in arms about shit?
Yeah, life's great questions. Anywho, let's read this creepypasta about a happy apple.
Yeah, it's one of those like haunted TV show ones.
Mm-hmm. It's also very long.
Yes, this one might be another multi-parter.
Oh, it's not a one-shot? Okay.
I mean, I've been looking for another long-form one. Oh, dear God, me scrolling caused things to get weird. Okay. February 23rd, 2011. Hello, I will be using you because I am discovering about a show called Happy Appy. Please don't use me.
Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be used by you.
At very least, say please. May I use you, please? Your line.
Yes, sorry, I was typing something.
Fucking hell. That is a cute cat. They
I
are
just
both
saw the
cute
picture.
cats.
I just saw the picture and I was just like, oh.
Cats go to hell. Wait, why? They like to watch. It's still one of my favorite moments in Adventures of God. Just cats watching a whole bunch of people getting tortured.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, my line. Sometime. Here we go. I can't believe I lost my place. It's the second line. Come on, Tom. Wake up. Sometime during 1999, after Noggin was launched, Nickelodeon aired a new show on their program called Happy Appy. Sounds like some nursery rhyme that a babysitter would sing, but it wasn't. It was a short show, 10 minutes, and it was normally played in duets, making each episode 20 minutes, minus commercials. I mean, most TV shows are about 20, 22 minutes. It's part of why I like streaming networks. No commercials.
That's why a lot of people like streaming networks. We aren't being sold things.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs less than most TV packages.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't even have cable. I just have Netflix, and it's like, noise. A month after it premiered, it was pulled off the air and was never aired again. Even its nicer episodes. However, some parents did record the shows, but they were VHS copies. Oh, no.
I mean, yes, that's typically how you record things.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few, like, VHS copies of, like, fucking TV shows shit back in the day. Also, I'm just going to say right now that I highly doubt that this would fit within Noggin's curriculum, being as it was meant to be somewhat educational. But of those VHS...
Noggin was like educational TV.
Yeah, like Ubi and shit like that. Like shit that's actually meant to like learn your kids something.
Yeah.
As well as like provide entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But of those VHS copies... Well,
I never had cable, so I usually just watched PBS Kids, which honestly have got some pretty fun little kid shows on there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if memory serves, like Sesame Street was on there.
Oh yeah, Sesame Street was amazing. It's
also
amazing.
Arthur was on there.
Arthur was on there. Cyber Chase was another one. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Dragon Tales.
Cyber Chase. Holy shit.
Yeah, Cyber Chase
Dragon
was one of my favorites because it was weird, but I liked it a lot just because it's like, hey,
it was weird, but it was actually a good like math teaching thing.
Oh yeah.
Enough.
Oh yeah, I used actually some of the knowledge I learned from that when I transferred over to public school and we started learning like calculus and stuff, or not calculus, algebra.
Oh, kid. I swear these past few weeks have just been fucking off the rails because we keep getting distracted by everything.
Yeah, at the same time, these pictures are so cute, I'm just going to have a heart attack, and it's going to be worth it.
We're just going to hear a fucking thunk on your side.
Yeah, I mean, then the revivification robot will kick in, and I'll be put back to life, so I've taken precautions.
So that's why there's those weird fucking arms on that Roomba. I was wondering.
Yeah.
But of those VHS copies, only some VHS copies survive.
The rest were frozen and smashed.
The rest weren't VHS copies.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Don't fucking, like, needlessly repeat things. Only some of them survived.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah, only some of them. There's no other way you can fucking phrase that and it work.
Oh, you're going to have a heyday with these next few sentences.
However, that was really, what was really rare was an intact DVD copy of any episode. I was one of the lucky ones that had a DVD copy. Yesterday, when I did some spring cleaning recently, okay, winter spring cleaning, but who cares, I found some old DVDs with a Sharpie on them. They read HA 1 through 10. I did some research by using Google and on Roblox. Unfortunately...
Oof. I am very much not funny, and I know that. That's part of why I laugh.
That's a big oof. What? Why did you do research on Roblox?
I mean, there had to be something before freaking what's that one chat thing on Oculus Rift, the VR chat.
VR chat?
Yeah.
Why would you use VR chat? Why would you not, like, I don't know, start up a Reddit thread, on, like, one of the Lost Media subreddits or some shit?
Maybe someone just wants to talk to, like, actual people and say, hey, who knows about such and such? And then just strike up a random conversation.
You can do that on, like, fucking Reddit. Like,
yes, but some people want to talk and get instant answers.
Like, that would be my first thought of, oh, hey, I found this thing. I wonder what it is. Also, HA 1 through 10. You have a DVD... What? Do you not have a DVD player? I found out that those were the initials for Happy Appy. In the replies, they said that there were no DVD copies around, which is false because I have some copies.
They lied to me.
Am I already having a meltdown?
I don't know. Are you? Only you can answer that.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that just fucking hit me.
Hey, look! There's a story entitled Jeff is Back.
Fucking hell. I remember Normal Porn for Normal People. That one was weird. That one felt like it could be an actual website, weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm. So I decided...
that there... Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to read if you...
I was going to... Because there are some, like... there is some like weird internet rabbit holes you can go down where you just find like a lot of fucking weird ass videos. It's like, wait, what the shit?
Mm-hmm.
And so like the normal porn for normal people, that's what the whole thing was. It was like this thing that people ended up stumbling across, a website called Normal Porn for normal people, and it was these weird fucking videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, yeah, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I decided to put them into the disk drive, praying for them to work. Okay. Well, they did, and they instantly cut to the intro.
Okay.
By the way, I really haven't described the show, haven't I? There is this giant clay apple with hands and feet being held up by a rusty wood bent stick. How can a stick be rusty? I don't know. He helped children.
I don't know.
He helped children when they got hurt. But as the show progressed, it just got creepier, like death stare and evil smile creepier. I'm just waiting for the hyper-realistic, the phrase
hyper-realistic apple.
Yeah. So, how much you want to bet that there's going to be one of those?
His hyper-realistic stick. Also, I don't see any feet on that restored Happy Appy image. I just see an apple with a stick up its ass.
Mm-hmm. Yes. However, they did change the stick to a non-rusted but still bent stick.
Is it still wood?
Was it wood to begin with? By the 8th episode, he wasn't even a clay model.
bent.
He wasn't even a clay model. He looked like he was CG, but he wasn't. Probably a very good animation. Here we go. To describe more about the colors of Happy Appy, his eyes were dark blue, his mouth was dark green, and he had a leaf on his head. His intro song had the same tune as Mary Had a Little Lamb, and it went something like this: Happy Appy, Appy App. I'm not going to sing that because that is beneath me. Repeated 3 times. Anyway.
Happy, Appy, Appy, Appy. Okay, there it is. Yeah.
Anyway, enough with that. Let's describe the actual show episodes.
I'm a lot. What? He looked like he was CGI, but he wasn't. Probably a very good animation. If it looks like CGI, it's typically not very good. Like, if CGI looks like CGI, they fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Just thinking
if something that's not CGI looks like CGI, they really fucked up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of that one episode of like Gravity Falls when they have like the stop motion animation clay things, and it's like talking about it's like there was the new CGI thing had come around, but there was no heart in it, no heart, and you just see the giant clay Cyclops looking at the newspaper and seeing like this weird ass like early CGI image, and then just crumpling the paper and just go oh like no,
yeah,
it's so good.
Episode 1 and 2 were called Happy's Vacation and Hurt Happy, respectively. Happy's Vacation was exactly what you thought. Happy going on vacation and helping kids at the beach. Hurt Happy was Happy getting hurt and the kids helping him by giving him band-aids and giving him fruit, which is weird because they gave him an apple in one part.
I mean, it's like that one.
I don't think children's shows tend to think about the whole thing of, is that cannibalism?
Yeah, no, like I remember I used to watch a bunch of Disney Christmas special stuff, and there was like one with like Donald and his family, and they were eating turkey and their ducks, and it's like,
yeah,
that's borderline cannibalism. And then
only in the same way as a human eating a mammal, like a cow is.
Yes, but then it's like there was an actual turkey who was an actual part of the show, and like it was kind of like a Groundhog Day thing. Like they kept repeating the day over and over. And the last day they actually invited the turkey to dinner, but instead of turkey they had ham. So,
well then, nothing seemed out of place when I first saw it, but when I saw it a second time, why did you rewatch it? It looked very odd. While Happy was driving his van in Happy's vacation, some frames were skipped. I ignored it, saying it could be a scratched DVD. But when I checked it, it wasn't scratched.
Oh no.
Why saying it could be a scratched DVD instead of thinking? I was he just like watching it and just like, that's probably scratched. Just out loud.
I mean, I'll mutter things aloud to myself like all the time, but I'm weird, so
Yeah, I don't know. It's saying, I don't know. It's a phrasing thing. Like, anyway. Oh boy.
Also, I noticed some out-of-place objects in Hurt Happy. In Happy's van, there was what looked like the border of the Obama's Hope poster. Also, the radio plays a country music-esque version of Hot and Cold, which was made in 2008 and very out of place for a kid's show.
I want to hear that. I want to hear a country version of Katy Perry's Hot and Cold.
Get on it, Melodica Bros.
Yes, please do.
I'm
you
reminded
lovely Italians.
I'm reminded of the one episode of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, or like when it's like the Cat Loves Food song, and there was like a country version of it later on.
Cat loves food.
I thought those were just coincidence. Well, I was wrong. Episode 3 and 4 were stranger. One moment that could send chills down anyone's spine was the boo-boo scene in episode 4. I'm dying a little inside as I'm reading this. Happy has a child that has a bruise on his knee. He looks to the camera, death stare on face, and says, "What does Nate," I think that was his name, it wasn't Kevin, for this beating?
I mean, we know it wasn't Kevin.
What does Nate need for this beating?
What does Nate need for this beating? What the fuck? I wouldn't find that creepy. I'd find that funny. That would seem so tone deaf. Why did... For 30 seconds, he stared at the camera motionless. His dark blue soulless eyes locked on with anyone watching. I'm just imagining like your friend walks in and all of a sudden the eyes dart over to him. Did I cut out there? Tom? I have no idea if Tom is here. So that's a fun situation. Tom? Okay. Finally he spoke. That's right, a Band-Aid. They didn't need that long to speak. I don't know. Intros were cut out. The main episodes were missing a few scenes. On episode 3, 5 minutes and 12 seconds is when he does his first death stare / evil smile. 30 seconds was somewhat eerie.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. What the fuck happened?
My internet crashed, and now I'm on my phone.
Do you have like headphones?
Luckily, I still got the page loaded on this.
How'd your internet crash?
I don't know. This happens every now and then. Like the internet just will go down randomly, and it's like sometimes it comes back up, sometimes it doesn't. It's really weird.
Okay. Like, do you have any headphones with the built-in mic, or?
I mean, I do, but the last time I I don't have, I have headphones, and that's what I'm on right now. They don't have a built-in mic. I could plug my headset that I use for my computer in on my phone, but if that's the case, I usually come in as deafening So is the audio
Okay.
really that bad?
It's kind of mildly robot-y.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to put my phone down for a moment, and I'm going to check my router real quick and see if I need to reset it or if it's resetting on its own. And I'm going to double check on some things. So I will. I'll be right back. I'm going to mute myself real quick if I can figure out how to do so.
Well then. For 30 seconds, it was somewhat eerie. Again, 30 seconds seems more like it would just be kind of awkward than eerie.
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, but.
I mean, I think you ended up missing the part I said. His dark blue soulless eyes locking on with anyone watching. Friend walks into the room while you're watching. The eyes dart over to him.
Yeah, that would be a little creepy, but more offsetting than anything.
Wait, what the fuck?
Why is that apple looking at me?
Well, I'm just imagining, like, as you're watching it, suddenly you just see the eyes dart over to, like, the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Turn on a light, because it is very dark in here right now. Illuminate me, Spider-Man's decapitated head.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, I think my internet's back. I'm going to try to hook back up to my computer. I'll be back.
Also, the out-of-place objects were getting more noticeable. There was a news broadcast about a tsunami that recently struck Japan. Appy said, "Oh no, if you want to help the Japanese, call this number," and an 1-800 number was listed. Hello. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. Beetlejuice.
Can you hear me?
Beetlejuice. Can now.
Okay, cool.
That song always just makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've listened to anything from the Beetlejuice musical. I know I put like one of the songs in chat.
I started listening to it like last time we were recording, and then it was like we had to start, so I paused it and I never went back to it. And it's like I feel like I did know Beetlejuice was a musical, but I don't remember.
It was like last year. Either someone is firing a gun or those are fireworks going off.
I mean, it's not July yet, so I don't think it would be fireworks.
You'd be surprised.
Actually,
especially out in the middle of nowhere.
Actually, no. And when I went to visit my parents the last time, as I was driving into town, like just outside of town, close to a billboard, I saw some like fireworks going off. And this was during the pandemic, when everyone was supposed to be staying inside, mind you. So
I mean, technically, they still are.
Yeah, I know, but like.
There it was again. I think it's like that makeshift gun range.
Okay. Makes sense.
Anyway. Again, but still, it wasn't Kevin. Fucking hell. Okay. But yeah, in episode 3, 5 minutes and 12 seconds in is when he does his first death stare / evil smile for 30 seconds. It was somewhat eerie. Also, the out-of-place objects were getting more noticeable. There was a news broadcast about a tsunami that was that recently struck Japan. Appy said, "Oh no, if you want to help the Japanese, call this number." A 1-800 number was listed.
Oh yeah, there was that tsunami that happened in 2011. Wow.
Yeah, but this isn't 2011. This is getting written down in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
But this is supposed to be like 1999.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, your line.
Okay. February 24th, 2011. I watched episode 5. First off, it had Happy on his news stick. This episode was very violent. In the episode, Happy was doing his trademark death stare and smile for half the show. Afterwards, he helped two children. The first one he took out of sight behind a bush. Blood is seen from the bush and screams are heard. The other kid waits for Appy. Then he's seen emerging from the back from the back of her. Then it skips frames. Next thing I see is a blood trail leading to another bush, and Appy doing that damn smile.
What? Also, Happy, and you see it emerging from the back of her. Did he just, like, fucking chest burst her out her spine?
Yep.
Or I guess there is a name for those, what was the latest Aliens movie?
Not Requiem.
Covenant.
Covenant, yeah.
They had the blood bursters, which would, like, burst out of a person's back.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 6 showed Appy doing a death stare, but it was hardly viewable. Then it went static for the rest of the show. I couldn't believe it!
I can't believe we're reading this.
Happy's not very good at helping children.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
I shall help the children by killing them.
He's helping them to the afterlife.
Yeah, Georgie. You want your boat?
I moved on to episodes 7 and 8. This time, the episodes were so violent, so badly made, that they couldn't have been aired on Nick. Episode 7 had Appy take a kid into his van. Flesh cutting could be heard, and so could blood splatters on the windows and screams, which turned into gurgles. Then he emerged doing a death stare and smile from 9 minutes and 21 seconds to the end of the show, or 10 minutes. Like I said, 8 had him be a CG-ish monster. But this episode was so coincidental, I couldn't believe Nick would even allow it.
Alright. Okay. It starts out with Appy going around the playground, telling the kids about the cycle of life. By cycle of life, I meant frogs and plants. The kids then said, "Thanks, Appy," but then smoke creeped up behind Happy, so Happy and the kids turned around. 2 towers! 9/11 and 1999 were burning up, with people falling off. There was possible photo of 9/11 scene added. Wait, oh, that's supposed to be a link thing. God damn it. There was a lot of screaming, fire, and a crashed plane. The tail could be seen sticking out of one of the towers. I could hear a faint whining noise, and I think it was the plane. Then, a piece broke off, hitting and possibly killing someone. Then the kid asked, "Appy, what are the towers doing?" It cut to a kid that was stuck under a huge metal piece crying for help. Some other kids tried to help him. He was screaming so loud. It was almost heartbreaking. There was blood everywhere, and the fear on his face was so realistic I cringed. I'm also cringing. Appy turned to the camera, and just like the photo in the top right corner, said these 3 words. "That's natural, children." Then he dragged them away, leaving the trapped kids screaming. I'm imagining this giant apple dragging children away, and it's somewhat comical.
I jumped out of my seat. Was Appy a death bringer of some sort?
What?
Or was he a master predictor?
That's not a word.
I had to continue. Episodes 9 and 10 were up. Hey.
Oh, and you want to know what happened when I called the number? I'll call it tomorrow. This is the stupidest shit.
I'm imagining it's just the hotline. That's just John Cena's theme.
Do.
February 25th, 2011. Just a quick thing. I called the phone number mentioned on episode 3. It was a recording, which I will translate for you.
Hello. I'm Happy Appy, every kid's most helpful apple. If you want to make a donation, press 1. If you want to know about the earthquake, press 2.
Pressing 2 gave me this. Depression?
No, I already had that. An
okay.
earthquake and tsunami hit Japan, and we need your help. Hey! A man has fallen into the river!
Hey!
Build the helicopter!
Yeah, I remember when those Lego City commercials were starting to come out on television. It was always like such and such has happened in Lego City, and then it's like it would go to like a stack of Legos, and then it changed the CGI Lego man, and he'd be like, "Hey, like, come on, you should have built this already." And then
build it already, you dumb kid.
Then it would like be a fast build of the thing, and then it's like do such and such, and they're actually fairly well done commercials. I'm just so happy they got turned into. I'm so happy it got turned into a meme.
And we need your help. If you can make a donation of $1 to $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, $50, or $100, you'll be a big help. Anyone who donates will get a happy badge.
So I decided to press 1 and donate $1 to the donation. It then said this.
You're a bit late for relief efforts. Thanks for helping with the aid for the tsunami. Now in the mail, you'll get your WAWR happy badge in a week. Weird how it said that in the phone call.
Mm-hmm. February 27th, 2011. Episode 9 was corrupted. It started up, but the whole thing had no audio, and the first part was so messed up that it was hardly viewable. The next part was just plain static for the rest of the video. Great, 2 missing episodes, I thought. 10 wasn't. It started with some weird offbeat carnival music. It started with Happy Appy still looking like what he did in episode 8. But this time, as the episode went on, his CG-ish model looked worse and worse, like injury-wise worse. He was in his van, driving against the road that looped on and on. Eventually, he reached the playground. Many children were at play. Happy looked like he was ready to kill all of them. Then he said, "Hey, kids, who wants to see Happy do a magic trick?" The kids cheered and ran into his van. He then closed the door and drove off. After that, he came back, smiling like he just killed them all. Oh my god, did he actually kill them, Llytic? Do you think?
Why does he sound like the birthday clown that showed up for my 15th birthday?
That would explain a lot, man.
Hey kids, who wants to see a magic trick? It's a snake. Go fuck yourself.
I just squirted you with this fake flour on my shirt. It was filled with acid. Your skin's now melting from your bones. Happy birthday.
Oh, I was more meaning the whole balloon animal thing. Who wants a balloon animal? It's a snake. Go fuck yourself.
That's funny.
I want one. Here's a worm. What's this one? A stick.
This one's a cucumber.
It's orange.
It's a disease.
Are you trying to start something? Are you trying to start something, kid? If I say it's a cucumber, it's a cucumber.
You gotta use your imagination. You do have imagination, don't you?
Fucking hell. If I ever do that whole shift of changing, like, the whole, like, I guess, representative thing from a troll to a demon, I'm definitely gonna have to make sure to remember that joke. Birthdays in hell are weird. Couldn't take it anymore. For some reason, Happy was making me feel nauseous. But I continued. The remainder of the show, before the credits, was him reading the news, future events that didn't happen for a long time. Examples were the Libyan riots, Chris Benoit's suicide, and the SS Columbia disaster. Meanwhile, there were random breaks, which showed a behind-the-scenes look at him realistically murdering a child. At the credits, Happy was holding a knife covered in blood. The camera shot down where there was a table. A hand with blood was visible. Then it cut to a black screen with white text.
Okay. I'm guessing this is the text that showed up then. If you get these DVDs, I copied Happy over to them. I wanted to preserve this so that they weren't lost forever. Now you might wonder, how did Nick allow all 10 episodes or 7? I don't know. They just did. That's what. If you want to know more, see me.
Casey.
Was that my friend, Kevin Costeau? Well, he did say that he worked with Nick until the end of the millennium, so he probably helped with Happy Appy. I decided to visit his house.
Yeah, this does sound like something Kevin would do. You heard of that? It was like r/Tales of Kevin or something like that.
Hang on.
Because like Call Me Kevin ended up making a video on those. Like, I'm gonna clear my people's name. Just going through is like, no, that sounds about right.
Kevin's the one on the far right as we're staring at it.
Okay, no. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Now that I think about it, anytime "Call Me Kevin" has like popped up in another person's YouTube video, yeah, that sounds about right. God damn it! Again, the characterization for the monsters was so good; it was just the human bullshit.
Yeah.
Which it's weird. A lot of the problems with both that one and the first legendary Godzilla movie were issues that are in like the original Japanese movies. Like, oh, Godzilla wasn't there that much. Yeah, he's not there in the Japanese movies a lot either. It's most of the movies is just waiting for Godzilla to show up, as well as like terribly written human characters and shit like that. Annoying children sometimes. Those are more in Gamera movies, but there is oftentimes an annoying fucking child in like the Godzilla ones.
Not in all
sometimes
of them. Sometimes
it's Godzilla's child.
Nilla.
And depending on the movie, Godzilla Jr.
Well, Godzilla Jr. actually had a decent character arc, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, like I said, depending on the movie.
There we go. Hang on a sec.
Which one of the Godzilla children is it that Space Godzilla beat the shit out of?
I don't think it was this one. That's Manila. I think it was Godzilla Jr.
That little fucking ugly turd monster.
Yes. This is Godzilla's son. Okay, but why though?
Even Godzilla didn't like him.
Godzilla
There's so many scenes of Godzilla beating the shit out of him.
There was one movie called The Son of Godzilla, and he and a little Japanese boy were the main characters.
It was terrible. But yeah, like the whole thing of like the focus on human characters that you don't really give a shit about. Like that was the whole thing with like fucking King of the Monsters. There was no reason for a divorce subplot. None.
Yeah.
Neither one of the characters involved were in any way likable.
I mean, I didn't mind them, but then again, I tend to be pretty forgiving when it comes to characters, so...
I mainly just used that shit as, like, a calming down period between the fights.
Yeah,
like,
and get
know
hyped
what?
For the next one.
Yeah, because, like, the fights were great. Like, the characterization with each of the monsters was well done. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like how Rodan was portrayed. I get it. But at the same time, I have a soft spot for Skyscream. Well, no, I understand why some people wouldn't like that characterization of Rodan. It's like,
I do
that's
too,
not
and I'm
how
telling...
Rodan was in the original.
I do too, and I'm telling them to shut up.
But at the same time, I like Starscream. Like, comics and cartoon Starscream, not fucking Michael Bay movie Starscream. Michael Bay's movie Starscream doesn't have a personality. He is not my conniving boy.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job.
My egotistical, usurping baby.
You mean usurping?
Usurping, yeah, whatever.
But yeah, no, my favorite fight, I think, in King of the Monsters was Rodan versus King Ghidorah. That was just awesome.
Oh yeah, where he just got fucking bitch slapped.
Yep,
I mean submission.
It was still really cool because like the build up Rodan, the demon of the mountain. That was just it's fire Rodan. That was...
Which, there are other things I do understand as, like, criticisms for the movies, like how little it seemed to care about like the loss of human life and all that shit, or how it was stating that the monsters stomping around is actually good for the environment, which again that could have been done without the fucking dialogue.
It could have been done, and that's the whole thing. Is
like show don't tell. But I will say it was less mean-spirited about that sort of thing than like the IDW comics, which almost seems spiteful in how they treat people.
Mm-hmm. You know,
because if you've ever read them, you'll know what I mean. In which like it's just fucking everybody. Like they'll just like focus in on people, and then they just get fucking slaughtered.
Wow, that's just mean-spirited.
But why?
Yeah, no. One of the things
why I'm not big on the IDW comic. I honestly do think that Godzilla King of the Monsters would have been better done if it was told from the monsters' perspectives.
I mean, yeah, but like...
Don't focus in on the humans. Focus on the monsters.
Hell, you could even have just a movie about the monsters without dialogue and just have body language.
Yes.
It would be really cool.
Yes.
And
that is one of those things. It's kind of like the whole thing with like Mad Max Fury Road. That movie goes the longest time without any dialogue, and it's not a bad thing. Like, yeah, the dialogue in it is well written. But like even when it's not there, it's just a whole thing of you understand what's going on because the visuals tell you.
Yeah, and that's the mark of good storytelling. Like that was one of the reasons because I just watched A Quiet Place for the first time a couple weeks ago, and that did a pretty good job of like storytelling with body language and facial expressions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like there was no dialogue, and but back to an earlier topic that we were talking about, just kind of the whole disregard for human life thing. It's like I can one of the things that I think they were trying to do in that one was just to show just how freaking powerful these monsters are. They're more forces of nature than anything.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of why I liked the scene with Rodan when he just flew out of the mountain and just like as he was going over, the winds kicked up from his wings, just leveled the entire city.
Oh, yeah.
And you just see how powerful he is. And then when he just gets bitch slapped by King Ghidorah, it's like, holy crap, King Ghidorah is strong.
Yeah.
That was.
I think part of it is just the whole thing of that. The best I can say is human-centric storytelling, because the divorce subplot wasn't a focus initially. It was a studio mandate because they were like, "Oh, well, you need human characters to focus in on."
Mm-hmm.
You don't. You really fucking don't.
And that was one of the. That was an. Sorry, were you gonna say something else?
I was just gonna say like. Because the humans were the least fleshed out characters in the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were the least interesting, and it meant that we had to deal with, like, the fucking dude who misheard Godzilla's gonorrhea, and the fucking conspiracy theorist Hollow Earth dude. Which, fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. But, like...
it's a whole thing. You don't need a human focus for a story. If you are a good enough writer, you could have like the most fucking inhuman thing be your focus, and it work.
Yeah, and on
like how one of the things, like one of my immediate thoughts is the cosmic horror chapter of Immortal Hulk, in which it's told from the perspective of an alien, in which like the Hulk has become like this horrific eldritch monstrosity almost. Like talking about like how like color in the universe has been destroyed for the most part, and the most feared thing is the color green. And shit like that, and like our characters we're given are entirely inhuman. Nothing human about them. Like it's like their movements and stuff are described in like completely inhuman terms, and like words for their anatomy that we wouldn't be able to relate to are used, and it fucking works.
And on the other end of the spectrum, when it comes to like human-centric storytelling, you don't have to have a human-centric story to tell a good story, but at the same time, if you can marry kind of the human stories and the monsters together, it could do a really good job. There was this book I read in high school that was called Tim. which Tim stood for Tyrannosaur Improved Model. Basically, it was an author's take on a kaiju movie. He made like this new character and everything. But one of the things that was really interesting was there were a couple human main characters, but you also saw things from Tim, the title character's point of view, the monster who was basically taking up the mantle of Earth's defender and stuff like that. You see his character development. You hear his inner thoughts and how his mindset's a little more alien, but at the same time, it's like when he sees the threat that's coming to the world, he's like, I'm gonna face it head on because that's my instinct. And later in the book, he meets the previous protector of the Earth, which happens to be like this enormous like beast that's like the Kraken, basically, who had a more passive outlook on things. Like he would nudge continents in the right direction because he was massive and was just able to do that. And at first, Tim treated him with scorn because he's like, "You're a coward. You're not facing the threats to Earth head on." And it was a conflict of like, okay, there are different ways to do different things, and it was super fucking interesting. And like, I don't know if there was a sequel to it or anything, but like, they married both of the stories together, and like, but one of the reasons they did that was because the main threat to Earth at this point in time was a human-made monstrosity. It was like a nanobot thing. It was really weird, but it was a really good story. I can't remember who it was written by. Let's see.
Like basically my whole thing is that Godzilla King of the Monsters should not have been humanity's story. It should have been like the kaijus. And for anyone that's like, oh, well, Godzilla's supposed to symbolize nuclear radiation, and so therefore, and how that ties into humanity's and all that.
Mm-hmm.
In the Japanese stuff, yes. However, the symbolism with the Titans and shit seems to be very much divorced from that. They seem to less be like Godzilla seems to very much less be like this analog for the devastating power of nuclear radiation, and instead more of a literal force of nature.
Yeah. And that's the whole...
And so that's what they should have doubled down on that. They should have had it to where, no, it's an unstoppable thing that humanity can't deal with.
Yeah,
so
and
it's not humanity's story.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that was a little that I think they did fairly well in Kong Skull Island too. Was that one was a human-centric story, but the characters were a lot more like likable and relatable. Yeah, they had the kind of...
The characters were better written.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, but it was still, it's like, yeah, this was told from the perspective of humanity, but it was very much Kong's story. And like, I really like that. And because Kong is an ape, he can emote a little bit better than something like Godzilla, with the facial expression rather than just body language. So
even like Godzilla does do a pretty good job of emoting, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no. But with Godzilla, it's more like I said, body language, more like amping himself up. And with Kong, it's like he'll grimace when he's got like when he's like his hand got cut up by the helicopters. He grimaces when he puts his hand in the salt water trying to wash the wound out and stuff. And he seems more human, which is one of the reasons why whenever they finally do the King Kong versus Godzilla rematch, I'm actually going to be King Kong. Like, I love Godzilla and everything, but
they have released like stuff involving that, so apparently it's bearded Kong.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like fully grown Kong, and so he seems to have like a beard. Anyway,
that's really cool.
When I entered, Kevin wasn't home. His wife was sitting, crying. I asked her what happened to Kevin. She replied with something that shocked me. I don't know what happened, but something or someone kidnapped him last night. I don't know where. But he or she left this. Take it. Why did they say he? Why did she say he or she instead of they? I don't know. They is just a much easier way to describe someone that you don't know the gender of or doesn't fall into like male or female gender.
It's also besides one syllable as opposed to three.
Yes. I mean, hell, I have a habit of just using it to refer to anyone that I either don't know or just either don't know the gender of or just straight up don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I then got a folded piece of folded up piece of paper. I unfolded it. And there was a picture of Happy Appy during the 9/11 scene, with the exception that he looked badly scarred. Before I left, I asked her how those horrifying episodes got on Nick. She replied with, he drugged the producers. He was going to. That was enough. I couldn't bear to take it anymore, so I left the house and drove off. When I got out, I decided to walk toward my house. I heard a gunshot and screams from a woman, probably Kevin's wife. I glimpsed at the picture again. What? Oh.
You know, SCP does a better job at telling like horror stories than this website, which is kind of dedicated to telling horror stories.
Well, the whole thing with SCP is that it explicitly deals with stuff that does not fit into the normal, and also part of its whole thing is that part of the reason it works is that it doesn't give you an answer and doesn't pretend like it's going to.
Mm-hmm.
Because this thing right here, this story isn't doing anything like I have no fucking clue to this day how, or anything like that. So it treats it like it's going to give you an answer.
Yeah.
Which makes it harder to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how the fuck are you going to explain that? As opposed to, like, SCP, which whole thing is, like, no, there is no answer. We got no fucking clue.
Our job is not to explain these things, but to secure them or contain them or exterminate them.
Well, they have, like, a whole section on things that do have an explanation, and those things are no longer considered, like, full-on SCPs because they're understood now. One of them was a D20 that would cause people to hallucinate that they were in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is that apparently it was made with a hallucinogenic compound. They understand it, so it's no longer a regular SCP designation. It's the SCP/-EX, or explained.
Okay.
So it's no longer an anomalous item because they know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, apparently this thing is just laced with drugs.
This time, Appy wasn't in the photo. I instantly ran to my house because I know whoever killed Kevin's wife was trying to kill me. Before I opened the door, I saw one last glimpse behind me. It was Kevin's mutilated arm in a bush and an unknown figure standing behind it.
They must be a very small figure.
He dragged the kids into the bush. It's a fucking thing.
But, like, it's explaining things.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work too well.
The greatest fear is the fear of the unknown. It's like,
oh, yeah.
That's part of what makes the horror genre just so interesting.
I mean, Howard Philip Lovecraft understood that. Granted, his second biggest fear was black people, but...
Anyone who wasn't a rich white person, you mean? Because he was horrifically racist on a whole lot of things. He hated hillbillies.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, but
so basically, his three biggest fears: the unknown, anyone who wasn't a rich white person, and math.
Mm-hmm. And
I still love that story of the fact that he apparently growing up had too weak a constitution for math.
Uh-huh.
Too feeble for math.
Ah, yes, math that determines whether or not you're strong enough to continue in life. But like,
I mean, that would explain why he doesn't know what Euclidean means.
Yeah, but the whole thing with H.P. Lovecraft is like, one of the things that I think was part of what makes his stories effective is he was a scared man. Yeah, he was a scared man, but he was scared of a lot of things, and he turned that into words. And honestly, just thinking about it as a writer myself, sometimes I write poetry to cope with different things that I'm feeling. Yeah. Perhaps he was doing this to cope, and it probably brought him comfort. And I think
it's the whole thing. Like, whenever you're making horror, the horror is typically going to be like symbolic of some sort of like greater issue that does scare you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what tends to work.
Another good... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Because, like, The fucking man wrote a horror story about air conditioning. The cold air.
Mm-hmm.
If memory serves, it was a whole thing of air conditioning had like just recently been invented, and he was writing a story in which a man moved into a building where one guy like owned a home air conditioning unit, but it turns out that he owned it because he was trying to keep his house as cold as possible, because it turns out he was undead and was trying to keep himself from decaying.
That's really cool.
It's stupid, but it's
It's still effective, though. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Granted, the whole thing I noticed when I was reading his works was more the fact of, okay, I can understand how this was influential, but looking back on it now, it's very much like, oh, okay, I know what the twist is as soon as it starts.
Depends on the story, but like the whole thing with just different things like that, like it's kind of like the whole thing. If you want to create a horrifying monster, think of something that you yourself are afraid of, like
think of a greater issue.
Yeah, like one of the things I've recently discovered is like for a while I always thought I was I was afraid of the ocean. I'm not afraid of the ocean. I'm afraid of water I can't see the bottom of. So it's like if I were to create a monster like dealing with something like that, it could be like some freaky water elemental like vortex, and once you get sucked in, no matter how hard you swim to get out, there's just more and more space from where you are, and it's like that could be horrifying.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, though, of, like, horror is very much based on, like, one, the unknown, and two, greater issues around you. Like, the whole thing of, like, post 9/11 was when we started getting the nihilistic horror.
Mm-hmm.
Of, like, oh, there's no reason it happened, it just fucking did.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get, like, The Strangers, and hell, like the fucking Dark Knight portrayal of the Joker, even.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shit like that. And, of course, like, the landscape changes throughout, but, like, at the end of the day, a monster is never just a monster.
Art imitates life, and
whether intentional or otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, like, horror, like literature, horror movies, and stuff like that will reflect kind of the state of like a populace and stuff like that. Like, it seems like they're one of the like we still do have some of the we still do have some of the nihilistic horror going on now, but more but like. It's hard to explain. I'm not a huge horror fan, so I couldn't explain a whole lot of some of the more recent horror movies that have come out.
Yeah, like the latest thing you got into was The Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Which is technically like art house horror.
Mm-hmm.
Again, at some point we need to do a viewing party of like old, like fucked up horror.
Mm-hmm.
And like talk about that. Like, because like you've already seen Phantasm.
Yeah. That was very enjoyable.
So, like, oh yeah. So, like, old Italian stuff, or, like, Splatterhouse films.
I'd like to see, like, the original Night of the Living Dead and stuff like that, because I think that could be really interesting to look at.
Yeah, like, we need to do those at some point. Like, something other than something other than our typical format, even though I know that that'll get fewer views, because of course it will. But yeah. You know.
Yeah. Views are views, whether little or great.
Yeah. March 3rd, 2011. Hey, I wanted to know if anyone has any happy Appy videos. If you do, send me the link to one. What happened to my disc, you ask? I didn't, but okay. Well, I found them in pieces, like a claw slashed them in thirds, along with a note saying, "No more evidence now, huh?" Oh yeah, now I remember what I was going to say. But yeah, like a monster's never a monster. For instance, one could easily put forth the idea that Lovecraft's like outer gods could easily be a metaphor for xenophobia.
Could be.
Some horrific thing that you don't understand coming from like outside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, Nyarlathotep was sometimes called the Black Pharaoh.
Interesting. That's like, didn't know that.
Anyway.
I finally got my Happy Appy badge. It came in a bag that had a timestamp from 1999 to 2000. When I opened it, I got a letter from Happy Appy in the badge. The bag was Happy Appy smiling, but not with the death stare. On the back said, Happy Appy Helper Badge. I decided to read the letter.
To my friends. Or should I do the fucking... That fucking clown that showed up at my 15th birthday's voice?
I mean, will it bring up bad memories if you do that voice?
To my friends, you have helped us help Japan. Of course, let me introduce myself. Unarguably, you have heard of me on Nick Jr. Can't understand? Well, I'll give you the answer. Happy Appy App. Happy Appy Appy App. Happy Appy App. He helps kids all day. Now, where do I start with my gifts? Today, I have given you a nice badge, right from the playground. How did we get these, you ask? Running across the playground, I tripped on a rock. I fell, but I noticed the ground was uneven. Undoubtedly, something was there. So I dug the ground up, and there was a crate of thousands of these badges. Now, it's time to be off. See you on my next adventure. Love, Happy Appy.
I mean, that's only the logical course of action. You trip over something, you find it's a box filled with badges. You may as well give them out.
This box has badges covered in my name. How did these show up?
March 5th, 2011. Today I got an email from a man who claims to be a user on WikiLeaks. He heard about my conquest to find Happy Appy, so he tried to find any documents related to it. He did find one which told employees to never air certain TV shows or movies. After browsing through a big description of Crybaby Lane and other shows, I found this text.
Of course you fucking brought up Crybaby Lane.
I don't know what that is.
It was like this kid's horror movie that Nickelodeon put out. There was this one fucking, like, creepypasta. Oh, it was originally going to be much darker and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
One show originally called Happy Appy was canceled due to blood and gore. The show depicted an apple named Happy Appy that taught kids how to handle certain injuries. Weird concept. Yes, right after Ubi's teaching them emotions, we'll have Happy Appy teach them how to bandage a broken limb.
Yeah, let's get these kids turned into field medics so when the coming war comes
we gotta
up,
teach them how to
on the battlefield.
We gotta teach them how to make a splint. Now you see, you're gonna want to get a couple of solid pieces of wood. If you don't have wood, any rigid pieces of plastic might work. Then you're gonna want to put them on either side of the broken limb.
Also, probably give them something to chew on so they don't scream as much.
Then you're gonna want to start wrapping that around. It'll help keep the limb in place so that it won't become further disturbed and cause more problems, as well as allow them to possibly limp back the way to the hospital if you can't make it to a vehicle.
Remember, kids, this is only temporary help. They need professional medical help if they're gonna make it out of this and keep their leg.
Now, if you live in the U.S., it might be a lost cause if you live anywhere near the poverty line.
I'm trying to come up with something to say alongside that, but like, I got nothing.
Too close to home.
Yeah, a little bit.
You see, there's this thing called insurance. Fucking hell. On their final and only 8th episode, it was only 2 hours when Noggin removed all traces of the show happening. I can't tell if I'm having a stroke or it's just the grammar.
I think it's the grammar, honestly. I mean, you could be having a stroke. Do I need to
It might be both. I haven't lost feeling in one side of my body, so I might be okay.
I'll fire up the teleporter just in case, but...
2001 reports say the episode seemed to depict happenings of 9/11, even though the episode was shown in 1999.
I'm getting more suspicious.
Didn't you know that Appy was psychic?
Appy's
I
a
might be-
telepath. You can run, but you can't hide.
You see, I realized a long time ago that my powers of predicting the future won't prevent people from dying, so I'm now taking a more proactive approach.
Turns out Happy's actually just a really good and nice being. It's just misunderstood.
It's your time to go, little Timmy. I'm just suddenly. I'm flashing back to this one post I saw, like joking about a proactive divination wizard.
Mm-hmm.
You sure this house is going to burn down in a couple minutes? Lighting torch, throws it in window. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Fuck. Also, I think that might be like the whole disconnect I'm having with the whole Pathfinder thing, is that I'm not given the same time to like come up with characters and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like with D&D, I tend to have like these characters like thought out long ahead of time. It's like, oh, now I get to use it. Whereas with like Pathfinder, it's more a whole thing of, okay, let's see what I can figure out in less than a week.
It helps you think on your feet.
Yeah, but I can never get like the stuff that I want to get down.
Mm-hmm. That's why you leave it a little bit open-ended and you add stuff in later on.
Well, I even mean like characterization-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
anyway, like, I enjoy the Pathfinder games. I just can't get as invested into it as I did with like the D&D you were running, or like anything like, or like the D&D Zane's running, because I was like, oh, I already have this character concept. I've been working on it for a while. This seems like a perfect opportunity for it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like with the Pathfinder one, it was literally like, okay, we have all the people that are going to join. It starts this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Which, Jess, if you're listening, it's not a slight against you. That's
no. When it comes to
Mm.
stuff like that, it's like, well, I've often exercised coming up with characters in a very short amount of time because as a DM who often teaches new players how to play, I can help them brainstorm and come up with something within an hour so they can join everyone else playing. Because oh man, have I been caught with my pants down on a lot of different things when it comes to running sessions. They're like, hey, such and such is here. They want to join in too. Oh, okay.
I mean, Grant, I think part of the other thing might be the slight burnout from doing 3 games a week.
Yeah, no, dude. I've been doing like 5, and that's part of why whenever.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
not good.
No, it's not good. That's part of why I'm gonna take a hiatus when I get to when we get to the conclusion of this arc for my campaign. It's gonna be I'm thinking at least 6 months, and it's nothing against y'all. It's just I need to back off on this stuff, and I need to focus on main things right now. And I'm
hoping that you're still going to be able to like do the Pirates and the Planeswalker campaign.
Oh yeah, no. I'll be fine with that, because once we're done, once I'm finished with once I get done with my campaign and go on the hiatus, I'll be doing Pirates, Pathfinder, Planeswalker, and possibly one more that I'm doing in person. Yeah. But that one's okay, because it's like, if it's a little bit different when I meet with my regular gaming group that we meet in person. It's these are more like we've known each other for a long time. We know what we're going to do, and it's more like hanging out than anything else. And it's just, but even so, it's like, just
because I'm honestly taking like this month-long period as like a breather.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's
Granted,
nice.
It probably doesn't help that I've decided like ended up going with like the most like petulant bitch character I could.
Which one?
The Kitsune.
Ah, yes.
You've already threatened to cut her head off.
No, bash her head in.
No. You said cut it off.
Did I say cut it in? I thought I said bash
it
in. Anyway, okay, yeah. Well, I do have a great sword and a Warhammer. Anyway, let's get back to reading this.
Sorry.
How long have we been recording now?
Just over an hour.
Okay, well, let's read
maybe the next section, or No, the next section is only a paragraph. Fucking hell.
Let's skip to June 14th?
July 6th,
Or July
2011.
14th. Okay.
Ah, crap. I've been having nightmares of Happy ever since my last post 3 months ago. The dreams range from Happy's smile to him killing a kid. Also, about the mysterious figure. I've been seeing him more, whether he's sitting on a mountain or standing in a forest. The figure never seems to leave me. Also, I've seen more of him to tell you more about his physical features.
I'm just imagining it's like I'm sitting on the mountain to find myself. Why are you intruding on this?
Why are you here?
First off, he isn't Shadow because he has some sort of a face with a mouth. However, the mouth seems to be locked in one expression. Happy's death stare. I wonder if he's happy.
Ah, fucking hell.
But more about his body. He's slightly taller than me. I'm 6'2", and seems to be about midweight for his height.
I mean, I think one of those phrases is something that you've used to describe me.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the death stare.
Yeah, that one.
I mean, granted, I've even given my fucking avatar thing resting bitch face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever drawn him smiling.
Mm.
I've drawn him pouting. That's the convenience store one.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's just like neutral expression, bags under eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I boarded up my house because he obviously wants to kill me.
Please help. You gotta help me. My tie is evil and wants to kill me. The guy
Walks away slowly.
walks away. Please don't hurt me. ASDF movies are so great.
You know who's gay? Us. Have you seen that one? It's like one of the deleted
I've
scenes.
seen that one. Yep. June 11th, 2011. I'm at the local elementary school, the only place nearest here where he won't find me.
That's not weird.
That's not weird at all, dude. And also has a computer. It's... Now I think I'm having a stroke.
What?
It's been 5 days since my last encounter with him. My house is gone. Burnt to a crisp. The strange thing is, no one seems to notice it. It's like it never happened, or worse, like the house never existed.
What?
But at least I'm safe here. Wait, I hear rustling. That's not good. Hey, I see Harold Kleiner walking in the bushes. Wait, why is there blood on his face? Might be that figure again. I'm going to see.
What? Who's Harold?
Are you as confused as I am?
Harold? That lesbians. Still love that fucking meme.
Do we want to call it here? How do we want to...
Let's do the 28th and call it.
Okay.
June 28th, 2011. I bought a new house today. That was fast. It's 2 stories tall and it's fireproof this time. It's lined with asbestos.
Okay.
One of my friends, Jim Forrester, actually remembered Happy Appy. He said that there were more episodes I forgot. Turns out the most violent episodes were actually at the end. The entire series was supposed to have 25 episodes plus a TV movie. No one mentioned it because Jim had the only surviving tapes. The series got more violent slowly. He sent me a disc with fragments of Happy Appy episodes. Here's what they are. Also, with the name Forrester, all I can ever think about is Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Is there a character named Forrester or something on there?
It was the last name of the evil scientist from the early seasons and the lady whose name I can't remember in the later ones, because it turns out she was like his either aunt or mother.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is that eventually it stopped with the whole like evil scientist and his henchman thing, and instead like, because I think it was that the show went on hiatus or something like that, and then when it came back, it was like, oh well, the satellite of love ended up going through like a wormhole, and so it got kind of disconnected from time and space for a bit. I believe that was also about the time that Crow's voice changed, because he got a new voice actor.
Okay.
Which is even kind of lampshaded in the new intro that was done for that time, in which, like, what he would say instead of what he typically said, because each of the robots, whenever they were introduced, would say something, he'd say, "I'm different."
Huh.
And I think they even mentioned that his voice sounded different. So, anyway.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
What is...
I'm okay. So, Mystery Science Theater 3000. I have actually never watched any of the episodes, so like I'm trying to.
They have some on YouTube, like legally.
Might have to check.
They're
that out.
annotated weirdly enough, so the jokes are explained because some of them are like old references. Yeah, I guess that could be a viewing party we do at some point.
Possibly. And I know they have like, it might be on Netflix. I don't remember, but
yeah, they have a new series. I can't remember what it's on.
Yeah. All right.
Also, episodes of it show up on MeTV. Interestingly enough.
That is interesting.
Memorable entertainment television. Granted, I used to only get that when I was in Wisconsin, so I'd watch like episodes of Twilight Zone and shit like that.
Oh, that's great.
Or Hitchcock Presents. MASH.
Yeah,
Hitchcock Presents and Twilight Zone were late night. Like, those would start up around midnight.
I love Twilight Zone, man. It's such a good show.
Yeah.
The first starts out with a school bell ringing. Appy is standing next to a kid. The kid says that he can't understand math. The teacher said, "Class is dismissed." Then Happy sings a math song. It is distorted, but I can make out these lyrics.
2 minus 1 equals then... 2 minus 1 equals then your homework is done.
After that, the kid says, "Wow, thanks, Happy." The next fragment was one of the more violent episodes. They were mixed clips, but here's what happens in order.
I don't think that helps with his homework, Happy. 3 kids were crying so loud it was almost painful to hear. Happy and 2 other kids were trying to help the kids. The kids were crying because their families were gone. They died. The 2 kids comforted the 3 other kids, and the 3 kids left. But Happy had this weird perverted, nearing the borders of greediness smile. Greediness. What the fuck was I on about? He said, "Come with me." The 3 kids followed Happy into a building. He then left it with bags of money. The 3 kids were screaming for help again. Did he sell those children?
I mean,
What?
maybe. There were more to be seen. There was one fragment of a somewhat violent episode. Happy was putting a bandage in a kid's arm. In the far corner of yes. In the far corner of his pocket, a needle with green fluids was seen. Happy then put the needle into the kid, knocking him out. He then drug him into his van, and a chainsaw was heard. The DVD just stopped. You know what screams horror? The sound of a chainsaw.
I'm having flash. Was it you or Zane that was here when we did the Funniest Home Videos Lost Episode 1?
That was Zane, not me.
Okay, because that was one of those ones where they were trying to be scary, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Like, picturing this stuff happening was actually just funny. Like, oh no, they fucked up and the kid got nailed to the fucking banister with a nail gun.
What the hell? That sounds more like black comedy than freaking...
Yeah, it doesn't seem scary when you, like, it's because it's so over the top. It's like fucking Destroy All Humans, or more recent example, Maneater, where like the violence is so over the top, it stops being horrific and starts just being funny.
Yeah, they're coming out with a remake of Destroy All Humans. Or
I kind of want to play Maneater.
The shark one, right?
Yes. Mostly because I just want to exact my revenge on humanity. I mean, be a shark.
I mean, it's basically Jaws simulator.
Jaws with mutations.
I mean, a shark that hops up onto the beach and eats people before going back into the ocean. Pretty sure it has mutations.
Yes, but I mean, like you can turn yourself electric.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yes. Or like cover yourself in bone armor.
That's actually really cool.
The bone armor really helps with boats. Anyway. Oh, wait, no, yeah, you said the chainsaw thing. Oh, And you want to know more about the figure?
Not
turns
really.
turns out he was here. So I got out of there. Got out of there or got out of here?
I don't know.
Besides, I gave him a nickname.
Because, yeah, that's about as coherent as my thought tangents. Come on.
Forensic, which is better than calling him the figure. When I saw him 17 days ago, he seemed to have a basketball. I don't mean like he has retractable fingers in his claws. I mean he had a
Claws in his fingers.
God damn it.
You okay there?
Someone altered it. Basketball was a running joke from the Undercooked Analysis thing. In which the joke they made was that he was Shaquille O'Neal. God damn it. I'm going to check the other Happy Appy thing. There's another one. It's on Bad Creepypasta fandom thing. See if they put the basketball thing in.
I also got a good look at how he ran. He seems to be hunchbacked, which means he would be taller when he would be standing up straight. I say about 7 feet, although you could speculate that because I don't have a picture of him.
Yeah, see, that was the joke for the whole... Yeah. Okay, what day was that one?
That was June 28th, 2011.
June 28th? I go to June... Yeah, this is... Okay. Okay, yeah, because it's a different spelling of forensic. It's with a Z and a K. Yeah. He seemed to have fingers with claws. I don't mean that he had retractable claws in his fingers. His fingers looked like they were very sharp. I also got a good look at how he ran. Yeah. I'd say about 6'9", though you could speculate that since I don't have a picture of him yet. Hey. Okay. It's a good thing I hadn't had that one bookmarked yet. Anyway.
That's about all the time we have for today, folks.
Yeah. Special thank you to Summerwood Soldier and Destiny Baird for supporting us on Patreon. If you like what we do and would like to support us, then consider going down to that link in the description and signing up for one of the tiers. This month, like for June, Pride Month, all money that we're going to be making this month is going to the Trevor Foundation. So, yeah.
Good cause. You can write it off on your taxes.
Yeah, it's a good cause. God damn it. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it.
See y'all next time.
See you guys next time.